What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Bye Bye Earth, Season 2, Episode 7. So in this one, Adonis and Sherry reach like this part of the tree that has all these flaming pillars in it. So and Adoniston attacks Sherry with like his like zombies. Basically wants to turn her into like a zombie. But she defends herself and Belle gets there and defeats all the zombies and then she starts fighting Adonis while Kitty takes Sherry, out of that area. You know, Dram and Cyan, they arrive there. Basically, Belle's trapped in some like miasma or whatever. Then Cyan fights Adonis, and then Kitty and Sherry they get to where Gaff and his people are fighting Guinness, Bennett, and their people. You know, and basically Guinness says that God's just their God is just a machine that everyone's just been obeying. Gaff is a little pissed off by that and tells him to attack. And Sherry basically stops everyone from fighting and says that she's opposed to God, which Gaff is very shocked about. Adonis and Cyan, they find the god's heart, per se, and basically that heart like weakens everyone's powers except for Belle, and so that leads them both to believe that Belle is descended from like the creators of the machine, what we call the true gods. Cyan's mortally wounded by Adonis as Belle, breaks free, and you know, Belle starts crying, even though she knows that's her master, but she can't since she can't remember him, but due to her curse, she doesn't understand why she's crying. She knows that that's her master, but she can't remember him because of her curse. So Drum like takes Cyan's body away, and then Belle and Adonis start fighting. Rundine is deteriorates and it shatters. Basically, the rotting like it starts going up Belle's arms, and while this is while Belle's like pondering about everything that's happened. Then she starts like you know chanting this, doing this incantation for a spell, and that's really it for the episode. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's revealing that Belle's tied, I guess, to the secrets of the world. It's probably everyone was assuming was something like that, where Science says that he found Belle like inside this rock or something, gave her to this married couple that adopted her, then waited until time was right for him to train her. So basically, he had long suspected, what her orders were, that she was tied to God. So yeah, whatever the actual truth of the world is, where basically it's a like who knows, honestly it could just be like a simulation. I don't know. I've not read the source material, so that's weird. Like, so the source material, like the light novel has well, there was a novel that had like 2 volumes. You had that's meant to be the light novel or just another novel series that is 4 volumes. And you have the manga, which is 4 volumes. Now, I guess is the manga didn't go through all the way through all the novels. So whatever happened with that, I'm not aware. too much. I'm not read the source material, so like I don't know if this is past like the source material, but this episode was interesting. Interesting. I'm interested in seeing how next week's is. How the fight with Adonis, continues or concludes. You know, what else is there left to reveal about Belle's lineage and how it ties to, I guess, the God machine. So yeah, I'm interested in how next week's goes. Fire Force Season 3, Episode 7. So in this one continues on from the end of the last episode where a guy calling himself Moonlight Mask appears to help, Squad 8. Now, all the viewers and everyone there knows that that's Captain Benimaru Shinmon. The reason he disguised because if he openly went against the Empire, that would bring a lot of problems to his area because they don't follow like the religion of the Empire. They don't worship Amaterasu, and so yeah, and so basically they've always had a tense relationship with the rest of the Empire. So like Benimaru going basically openly fighting the Empire basically puts Asakusa on the hit list, basically. And so, yeah, so he uses his like fire brooms to like get all the Squad 8 to Asakusa, and and it's funny where Maki makes a joke that with her, gets with her hat and now a broom, she now looks like a real witch. I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, and then the rest of it, yeah, it gets a little weird. Like it gets freaking weird. So then we get to, the orphanage that Iris and Hibana, stayed at when they were kids. So then, so yeah, it's a gosh. So, and then, yeah, basically, so, Hibana and then, Captain Burns's lieutenants, you know, basically they go inside this like secret room where Hibana finds a book about, you know, yeah, about basically describing what the purpose of the St. Raphael's convent was. And she reckon basically basically the nuns put like the infernal bugs inside the food and had like the kids, like the little girls, like eat them in an effort to find like a pillar. Now, how not how a bunch of them turned into infernals right then and there, I don't know. It must have been such a light dosage, it didn't cause a problem. I mean, my best. I mean, I've read this part of the manga, and so yeah. So Hibana, Flam, and Huo Yanli, they're shocked about all this, and then yeah. So you had like basically had sustenance and basically yeah, it is messed up. Basically they were being basically the nuns were putting bugs in their food, like bugs in their food. Now, why amount? I guess it was like the whole. I guess there's a certain amount of dosage you have to get before you turn into an infernal. My guess is it must have been a lot of dosage where they went immediately burst into flames. But they enough to where if someone was an adult elite, they could find a way to tell. And of course, that's what happened with Iris. And then, yeah, and then you know, Sister Sumir, who Hubana and Iris thought had died, during that big fire at the convent, she's revealed to be alive. She appears like right behind the three Fire Force members. And then she's like, yeah, she's like, hey, you can't read. He's like, oh, reading stuff again without permission. Yeah. And then like basically the way her tone is, the way the cinematography is of the episode is, it confirms that what Hibana's concerns were true, and that the convent was tied to like the research in the doppelgangers. So yeah, I've read them all, and I can tell you, things get freaking creepy with Sumir. Like, oh, yeah, that's gonna be interesting stuff. Like this is freaking messed up what they do, what she does. Like, and because Sumir is an important character. She's a very important character. And yeah, dude. Yeah. That's whew. Yeah, I can definitely say it's not gonna. Yeah, dude, that is it's definitely gonna be a little creepy because like that's like this stuff is weird. It gets freaking creepy. It is messed up what happens. Like when a lot of about like a lot of this a lot of like her story when a lot of that's revealed. Yeah, it, it's definitely gonna be bad. They're gonna be interesting. And yeah, basically, you know, she like so, so yeah, next episode it's gonna get freaking creepy. Like Fire Force gets freaking weird, but it also gets freaking awesome. Like obviously the Benimaru stuff that's leading into some very cool stuff. I can guarantee that Benimaru is freaking awesome in like the in some of the fights that are upcoming. And Samir's gonna be freaking it's gonna be freaking crazy. Like oh like some mind blowing like weirdness is going on, but it's gonna be so freaking awesome. So yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to next week's Teogonia episode 6. So this one, Kai returns to where all those nomads are at, and he defeats the orgs. He drinks the god like the fluid from like the god stone of one of them, basically taking that one's power. Yeah, and basically like yeah, and then it's gonna definitely. And then you have while this is going on, you have like stuff in the village. You have like basically the two women he's like friends with, who one's definitely into them, one's probably is. They're both worried. While we see a few scenes with them, and yeah, I mean, it's not. There wasn't much to this episode. It was like you know, definitely like it's simple. Oh, here's a fight. Few people talking while it's going on. That's it. Like it's there's it was, but it's a good episode. It was it was short and sweet to the point. You know, do like yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that inspector guy was still at the village, and so like basically, he's just being a prick, flaunting his authority around, being like, "Hey, respect my authority." Yeah, yeah. He's like, "Oh, you have to serve me. You know, I am an important figure. See, I am a special inspector. See in my title where I have to be told I'm special." I mean, I don't know if it's actually special inspector. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, because really, a lot of science people they like to put special in their job title for whatever reason. But yeah, it was a decent episode. Looking forward to see how next week's goes. Following up with everything in this episode. So yeah, well, that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.